The newlywed woman deliberately opens the window in the bathroom and shows her perfect body in front of several decoration workers who are working. This scene made all four decoration workers look stupid. They didn't expect that Emmy was so bold and open to see a few people drooling. Emmy was so embarrassed that she closed the window. And she didn't do this for the sake of water, but for the revenge of these decoration workers. It turned out that just now, Emmy, who didn't wear underwear, was running by the lake. But she didn't know her waist circumference. It just happened to be seen by several decoration workers behind her. Although they were busy repairing Emmy's house, they didn't care at all and kept insulting Emmy. This kind of behavior made Emmy very angry. So she complained to her husband David that the decoration workers didn't care about her body. But her husband David thought, maybe you should wear a bra. This made Emmy very angry. And even if she didn't wear a bra, those people shouldn't look at her with such a dirty look. David explained that it's true that she wears a bra. It's easy to attract men. But Emmy thought that her husband was timid and didn't dare to argue with the decoration workers. I dress for you, David. I dress for you. I don't dress for you. I don't know what you look like naked, so in a fit of anger, she decided to retaliate. She didn't care if the decoration workers could stand it, so she took off her coat directly and showed a look of mockery on her face. As if she was saying, let you see, you can't get it even if you can see it. But Emmy didn't expect it. Her behavior was about to cause serious consequences. When Charlie was young, he was a basketball star player in a small town. At that time, he had a relationship with Emmy, the captain of the cheerleading team. Later, Emmy went to New York to make a name for herself. Now, she is in the spotlight. She watched David's actions and even drove a luxury car. Charlie's psychological gap was very large, but he laughed. In fact, he was jealous of her. Especially when he took the order of repairing the roof from David to upgrade, he felt more uncomfortable. At first, Charlie just turned on the music when he was working. He tried to use this little trick to interfere with David's blood. At the same time, he vented his dissatisfaction. But when he saw Emmy's body again, Charlie's desire was completely out of control. He longed to get Emmy again, even if he had no choice. In order to take over his ex-girlfriend's body, the man deliberately tricked his husband into hunting in the woods. Then he quickly went back and knocked on Emmy's door. After Emmy knocked on the door, he found that it was Charlie. He wanted to close the door immediately, but he was stopped by her feet quickly. Then he forced his way in regardless of Emmy's obstruction. As soon as he entered the house, Charlie smelled a faint fragrance on Emmy's body. I do recognize the scent. The evil fire in his heart burned more vigorously. Emmy was shocked and scared. David's gonna be home soon, Charlie. And Charlie was proud. He's busy becoming a man out in the woods. He sat on the sofa and began to tell Emmy about their intimate past. He tried to recall Emmy's memories, but Emmy was already married. How could he be easily moved by her words? Charlie couldn't help Emmy, so he decided to take a tough action. At the same time, David, who was hunting in the woods, soon found an empty house next to him. He instantly reacted that he must have been set up by these decoration workers. When David was blocking the car on the side of the road, he didn't know that his wife had been raped by Charlie. David just wanted to leave here, but he suddenly found that his wife had been here for a long time. It turned out that his wife had been in love with Emmy for a long time. Emmy was terrified when she saw his wife, so she called out to Charlie for help. But Charlie was afraid that his wife would report him, so he chose to stand by. He let his wife do whatever she wanted. When David came back home, he saw his wife sitting on the bed in pain. But David didn't think much. He just complained that the decoration workers deliberately left her in the woods. He decided to fire them tomorrow. At that time, Emmy just wanted to get out of this terrible place. I don't want to get out of here. But David was determined. He felt that he couldn't give in to those scumbags easily. The next day, Charlie and Emmy came to the villa early in the morning to work. David forced Emmy to call Charlie into the house alone and gave him a solution. Okay, why don't we just wash our hands? Let's be good neighbors, okay? Tell me what I owe you. Charlie showed his greedy nature. He asked for a compensation of $5,000. But in order to get rid of these scumbags as soon as possible, David opened a check for him. David thought he could finally get rid of these troubles. But he didn't expect that after these scumbags got drunk the next day, they came to make trouble again. They even smashed the windows of his house. David and Emmy were very scared. Fortunately, a police officer was passing by. But when David was about to ask for help from the police, one of the scumbags shot the police directly. Behind you. I'm gonna protect you. 5 thugs were crazy about shooting at the door in order to take over the woman's body. They saw the thugs holding weapons and pushing them step by step. The couple was scared to death. Fortunately, the door was made of copper. It was impossible to break it easily for a while. Emmy panicked and asked her husband what to do. David could only pretend to be calm. Unexpectedly at that time, the stone that the fat man threw out hit David's head. Fortunately, it was just a light injury. David didn't care about the pain. He and Emmy quickly took down the weapon from the wall. Then David asked Emmy to go upstairs to get the wall left by her father. On the other hand, Charlie was crazy about David's car and the license plate. He couldn't stand David's wealth for a long time. Now it just happened to be destroyed. Seeing the car being destroyed, David was also in pain. At this time, a young thug took the opportunity to try to rush into the house through the window. But David was quick-witted and nailed his hands to the wall with a nail gun. Seeing the two of them refusing to surrender, another thug set fire to the curtains and wanted to burn David and Emmy to death. But David took the opportunity and poured hot oil on his face. Bastard! The man was in pain and had a heart attack. Then David used water to put out the fire on the curtains. Now he knew that he could only fight with the thugs to the death. Listening to David's music, Charlie outside the house laughed. Thinking that David was really brave, Charlie decided to do nothing and drove directly into David's house. This scene was just seen by Emmy upstairs. She was in a hurry to warn her husband loudly, "We're gonna ruin the house." But another bearded man found her location. With a loud bang, Charlie drove directly into the house. A thug rushed over with a gun. David's eyes and hands were tied to him. He took the opportunity to shoot a man in the foot. Then David fired a gun and shot him. But the bullet was soon shot out. Another fat man came to catch David, but David hit him in the head with a tool and died on the spot. After driving into the house, Charlie, who was in a coma, finally woke up. He aimed his gun at David. At the same time, the bearded man who had just set fire to the warehouse was climbing up the stairs to the second floor. Listening to Emmy's call for help, David was in a hurry to rush upstairs to rescue him. But soon, the two shotguns hit David at the same time. The bearded man was shocked. He wanted to do something bad to Emmy before he killed them both. Fortunately, Charlie was a little rational. That's not what we're here for. As soon as they put down their guns, Emmy took the opportunity to grab the shotgun, but he was unfortunately shot down by Charlie. David immediately started a fierce fight with Charlie. But David, who was fighting barehandedly, was not Charlie's opponent at all. David was about to die under Charlie's gun. Emmy also aimed her gun at Charlie, but Charlie didn't feel afraid, because he remembered that there was no bullet in the gun, but he was about to die. David put the gun on his head. When Charlie lost his breath, David comforted his wife. He found that the young rapist on the window had also died. It turned out that his neck was broken into pieces of glass. Until then, David and his wife finally got rid of the danger.